Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
A very good evening to you. I am Dishant Virakon, and we start off by taking a look at your headlines for tonight.
The imported nitrogen-enriched organic liquid fertilizer is scheduled to be handed over to the farmers from tomorrow. All arrangements are being made to reopen tomorrow primary grades in schools with less than 200 students. Inter-provincial travel restrictions have been extended till the 31st of this month. The Kushinagar International Airport has been declared open with the landing of a Sri Lankan aircraft.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. Today is Wap Full Moon Poya Day, which has recorded many important events in the history of Buddha Sasana. The offering of Katinaro Puja commences with the Wap Poya. The history of Buddha Sasana mentions that the Buddha visited Tautisa heaven and preached Abhidhamma to his mother in the previous birth and arrived at Sankasapura in Dhammadeva on a day like today. Another significant incident that occurred today is the bringing of a branch of Jai Sri Mahabodhi from India. The passing away of Arahat Mihindu, preaching of Vinaya Pitaka at Tuparamaya by the Arahat Arita are other important historic events that are connected to the Wap Full Moon Poya Day. The Buddhist monks end observing Vas on the Wap Full Moon Poya Day. The 215th sermon of Amadam Sisalasa Dhamma sermon series took place this morning at the temple trees under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Madam Shiranti Wickramasinghe Rajapaksa has also attended the event. The sermon was delivered by Deputy Chief Sanganayaka of Dakshina Lanka, Venerable Dr. Ittademaliye Sri Chandrajyoti Indrasara Thera. Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation telecast live Dharma Varsha Poya Day religious programs from Purana Sangikarama Vihara in Horetudua, Moratua. The programs were telecast according to health guidelines and under quarantine laws in the face of the corona pandemic. Many programs were conducted which included Attasil campaigns, Buddha Pujas, Dharma sermons, Dharma discussions, community treatment services and Bodhi Pujas with blessings.
In the meantime, the Kushinagar International Airport in India was declared open this morning. A special feature on this occasion was the opening of the airport with the landing of a Sri Lankan aircraft. The Sri Lankan airline UL1147, which left the Katunayake International Airport, touched down at the Kushinagar Airport at 5:20 this morning. The Mahasangha, comprising of 100 bhikkhus, MPs and ministers, including Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs Nama Rajapaksa, have arrived at the airport in the maiden flight.
We are very lucky that we are seeing off Mahasangha on the first inaugural flight to the Kushinagar International Airport today from Colombo. Today is a very auspicious day. There is Vapoya Day under the initiative of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and the cooperation of the government of Sri Lanka under the leadership of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa ji. The Venerable Mahasangha is going to India together with the sacred relics of the Buddha. Today, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the Kushinagar International Airport, and then the Mahasangha from Colombo and all over Sri Lanka will participate in the rituals at the famous Kushinagar Mahastupa. This event puts Kushinagar, the place of the Buddha's Mahaparinirvana, at the center of the Buddhist circuit in India. It creates another link in the strong chain of people-to-people ties between India and Sri Lanka, in which Buddhism plays a central role. We are very grateful to the Venerable Mahasangha. We are very grateful to the people in the government of Sri Lanka and all the senior ministers who have made this possible. Once again, thank you Sri Lanka, thank you India. May India-Sri Lanka friendship live forever. Thank you.
The Kushinagar International Airport is the 29th international airport in India. It was declared open by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Indian government has accorded a warm welcome to the group of Sri Lankan representatives comprising of 100 bhikkhus and Minister Nama Rajapaksa. The sacred Kapilavastu relics of the Rajaguru Sri Subhuti Mahavihare in Vaskadua are scheduled to be displayed in many Indian cities including Kushinagar and Saranath. A special puja was also conducted on behalf of the Sri Lankan delegation at the Kasi Vishwanath Kovil. The Kushinagar airport is equipped with a passenger terminal of an extent of 3,400 square meters. It has facilities to accommodate 300 passengers at a time. There are runways to handle even larger aircraft such as the Airbus A321 and the Boeing 737.
सबका जीवन सुखमय हो, सबका कल्याण हो, मानव जीवन खुशहाली के मार्ग पर आगे बढ़े, यही कामना और यही प्रार्थना माननीय प्रधानमंत्री महोदय ने की है। परिनिर्वाण स्थली कुशीनगर में आयोजित एक पहचान तो मिली है हवाई अड्डे के उद्घाटन लोकार्पण के साथ।
इस फ्लाइट से श्रीलंका से आए अति पूजनीय महासंघ और अन्य महानुभाव आज कुशीनगर बड़े गर्व के साथ आपका स्वागत करते। वाल्मीकि जी की जयंती, भगवान महर्षि वाल्मीकि जी की प्रेरणा से आज देश सबका साथ लेकर सबके प्रयास से सबका विकास कर रहा है।
It gives me a great pleasure and honor, Your Excellency, to be on the inaugural international flight, Kushinagar International Airport, along with Mahasangha, on this auspicious day of Vappoya. Kushinagar, where we believe Mahaparinirvana of Lord Buddha took place. I recall it was Honorable Sri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, suggested to Prime Minister of Sri Lanka on a virtual bilateral summit that was held September 2020. 100 members from the Buddhist clergy must join for the inaugural flight to Kushinagar, operated by Sri Lankan Airlines. Your Excellency, it's an honor we will cherish for years to come. Later today, our delegation, led by Venerable Mahasangha, will be visiting Varanasi, where many Sri Lankan Buddhist pilgrims visit annually. Incidentally, it happened to be the constituency of His Excellency, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Dear friends, Excellencies, the greatest gift that Sri Lanka has ever got from India is Buddhism. Ever since it arrived, the relationship between people to people in our countries have been growing strength to strength. Mahinda Rajapaksa, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, commissioned the translation of Bhagavad Gita into all languages that has been spoken, that we speak in Sri Lanka. We believe that this will not only benefit the Sri Lankans, but everyone all over the world.
The first consignment of environmentally friendly liquid nitrogen fertilizer imported has reached the island last night. The stock is scheduled to be distributed among farmers engaged in the paddy cultivation in the Maha season from tomorrow. The government has decided to utilize organic fertilizer for paddy cultivation and other crop cultivations under its policy for an ecologically conducive agricultural industry with effect from the current Maha season. As a result, the government has decided to import the initial stock of 3.1 million litres of environmentally friendly liquid fertilizer. A further stock of 500,000 nitrogen liquid fertilizer is scheduled to be brought from India in the coming week. An aircraft of the Sri Lankan Airlines has brought the initial consignment to the island yesterday. Minister Bandula Gunawardana, Acting Minister of Agriculture Shashindra Rajapaksa and State Minister D.V. Chanaka, as well as officials of the Ministry of Industry, were present on this occasion. These imported stocks of fertilizer are of high quality and manufactured by IFCO Institute of India. The Office of the High Commissioner of India has also extended assistance in this program. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that in the recent past, farmers in the country have been continuously engaged in organised activities and agitations demanding the required fertiliser quantities. The minister added that the President has intervened to resolve this issue by conducting discussions with the Indian government for the supply of necessary organic fertiliser stocks for the Maha cultivation season. Accordingly, highly productive fertiliser stocks manufactured through nanotechnology have begun to reach the farmers with effect from today. The imported stocks of fertiliser was brought to the commercial fertiliser company in Colombo this morning. Acting Minister of Agriculture Shashendra Rajapaksa has officially handed over the stocks to Chairman of the Colombo Commercial Fertiliser Company, Metsiri Vijay Gunawardena. Secretary to the State Ministry of Agriculture, Nihal Ranasinghe, has also participated in the event. The nano-nitrogen liquid fertiliser stocks are scheduled to be handed over to the farmers via the Agrarian Services Centres. State Minister Shashendra Rajapaksa said that the government allocates 36,000 rupees as fertiliser relief to each farmer. He further said that 44,064 bottles of volume of 500 millilitres have arrived. They are hoping to bring fertiliser not only for the paddy cultivation but also for maize, fruit and vegetable cultivations. Measures are underway to provide the entire nitrogen fertiliser requirements to the Ampara district tomorrow. Thereafter, supplies will be sent to the Batiklo and Trincomalee districts. Plans are also underway to provide liquid fertiliser stocks to the Anuradhapura district as well tomorrow. The minister has requested the farmers not to have any doubts or fear regarding the receipt of fertiliser supplies. Several groups are engaged in attempts to discourage the farmers being directed to organic cultivations via media. The state minister further said that they are trying to do something good. He also said that the upcoming 2 or 3 seasons would become difficult. Thereafter, all crops could be cultivated without using poisonous substances.
Now, the Ministry of Education says that schools with less than 200 students from grade 1 to 5 will be reopened tomorrow. Schools are to be functioned according to health guidelines. Under the second stage, schools from grades 1 to 5 with more than 200 students and all grades in schools with less than 100 students are scheduled to recommence academic activities. The third stage of the program deals with schools where GC, ordinary level and advanced level classes are being conducted. The Education Ministry adds that thereafter all grades in all schools will be reopened. More than 5,000 schools are scheduled to recommence activities from tomorrow. Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Professor Kapila Perera, said that schools will be reopened once again for children who have been trapped in their homes for a period of around 6 months. They are coming back to schools with new experiences and challenges. The Secretary further said that they have deployed a special program for these children. It has been prepared by the Ministry in collaboration with the team of specialist physicians. He further said that they have been advised to create the program under the theme Going Back to School Once Again with a Happy Mind. The Secretary also said that the concept known as the school is an extremely essential part for the students to inculcate positive attitudes towards their teachers. These children are being nurtured through the schools. He further said that a teacher's song and a student's song have been designed for presentation. Tomorrow and the day after are a crucial part for the students for better interaction with their teachers. The schools will be reopened tomorrow with the objective of consolidating the well-being of students and to strengthen their education.
ඒ විකාශනය කළා විශේෂයෙන්ම ගුරුවරුන් මේ පුංචි මල් කැකුළු වල මුහුණ බලන්න ඔවුන් එක්ක කුළුපඟ වෙන්න සතුරු සාමිචිය දෙන්න අවස්ථාවක් තමයි හෙට අනිද්දා සහ ඊළඟ දවස් කීපය ලබන සමුදා ඉඳලා අපි වෙන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔබගේ දරුවා වෙනුවෙන් තමයි ඔබගේ දරුවාගේ හෙට දවස සුරක්ෂිත කරලා ඔවුන්ව අධ්‍යාපනයේ කියන ප්‍රබලම අවියෙන් සවිමත් කිරීමට මේ COVID-19 අභියෝගයත් එක්ක සටන් කරන අපි හෙට පාසල් ආරම්භ කරන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඔබගේ දරුවා පාසලට අරගෙන ආවොත් ඒක තමයි ඔබේ ජයග්‍රහණය, ඔබේ දරුවාගේ ජයග්‍රහණය සහ රටේ ජයග්‍රහණය.
Preparations for the reopening of schools have got underway today as well. This is the scene of how schools in Vavuniya are being prepared for the sessions scheduled to start from tomorrow. Provincial Governor A.J. Muzambil have also joined to look into the preparations on the reopening of schools in the Uva province tomorrow. All preparations have been made to reopen primary grades in schools in the Galle district, which have less than 200 students. Southern Province Governor has also inspected preparations of schools in the educational zones in Udugama, Tangol and Akurasa. Several teacher unions have also expressed opinions regarding the reopening of schools today. President of the Sri Lanka Podujana Educational Services Union Vasantha Handapangoda said that teachers and principals are eagerly awaiting to recommence their activities in schools. They are preparing to fulfill their education duties which they are unable to carry forward in the past 2 years. She further said that the physical health inspectors and other health officials will look into the health condition of the students. The health divisions are requested to focus more attention on the protection of the health of students when they are being directed to schools. The COVID situation has prevented children receiving appropriate school education for many months. Our correspondent said that the children are eagerly awaiting to recommence their schooling from tomorrow. Our correspondents have also witnessed how children were preparing to go back to schools.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has presided over the Milad un Nabi National Commemoration Ceremony at the Temple Trees yesterday. The Department of Muslim Religious and Cultural Affairs of the Ministry of Buddha Sasana Religious and Cultural Affairs has organized the event. A first-day cover and a commemoration stamp were also issued on this occasion. They were presented to the Prime Minister by the Minister of Mass Media, Dallas Alaperuma. Presentation of prizes and certificates to the winners in the competition organized in parallel to the birthday commemoration of the Holy Prophet also took place. Minister Ali Sabri, State Minister Vidura Vikramanayaka, MPs, governors and ambassadors have also attended this event. Ambassador of Vietnam in Sri Lanka, Ho Thi Than Truc, has called on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The envoy has expressed hope on this occasion on the many opportunities available to enhance bilateral relations between the two countries in the times ahead. The value of the bilateral trade between Sri Lanka and Vietnam had exceeded $300 million in the year 2019. The Vietnamese ambassador has also stated that her country is keenly interested in enhancing investments as well as Buddhist relations between the two countries. It has also been pointed out that around 100 Vietnamese bhikkhus are presently engaged in educational activities in Sri Lanka. Attention has also been focused to exchange education and religious programs between the two countries. Reverend Valence Mendes, who has been appointed as Bishop of Kandy, has called on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The appointment has been made by His Holiness Pope Francis. Reverend Mendes, in addition, will also function as the Apostolic Administrator in the Chilaw Diocese.
Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has decided to extend the inter-provincial travel restrictions till 4 a.m. on the 31st of this month. These restrictions were earlier scheduled to be withdrawn at 4 a.m. tomorrow. A total number of 27,627,779 vaccines have so far been inoculated on the people in the country under the COVID immunization program. The first dose has been provided on 14,788,141. The number of persons who have received both doses was 12,839,638. 442 COVID-19 infected persons have been detected in the country today. 25,991 patients continue to undergo treatment. 360 patients have cured from the disease today. Accordingly, the total number of recovered patients is at 493,674. The Director General of Health Services has reported 18 COVID-19 related deaths which have occurred yesterday. Out of this number, 15 persons were of the age of 60 years or above. The remaining 3 fatalities were between the ages of 30 and 59 years.
Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Samitha Ginige emphasizes that the COVID-19 immunization program for children has been carried out successfully island-wide. He urged the parents to bring their children to obtain the vaccination without any delay. He made these remarks while addressing the media today.
But by now we have reached near 100% single dose coverage for about 20 and nearly 87.7% coverage for second dose coverage for about 20 population. As a total population, by now 67% of our total population is covered with the single dose and 58.5% covered with the 2 dose. It's a good achievement. But as a next step, Ministry of Health as well as the Presidential Task Force has took up a policy decision to vaccinate 16 and above children as an initial step targeted 18 and 19 age group. Predominantly, we started this program in the Colombo district in last 15th of October and planning to roll out to all country, targeting all MOH areas in all districts on tomorrow, 21st of October. Then all the measures were taken, collaboration with Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, all measures were taken to initiate this program in gradual manner, targeting children 18 to 19 years of age. Those age group children are in year 13 and year 14 in those schools. By chance, any student miss the opportunity of the school-based program, they can get their due vaccination from MOH officers in every Saturday, conducting special clinic to the children. This particular age group who miss the vaccination, they can get their due vaccination from MOH clinics in every Saturday. Any child with any history of allergy or any other complications, we have taken all the measures to refer them for the nearest hospital, and they can take their due vaccination from those hospitals. Then we urge all parents to support this initiative. Predominantly, we are giving Pfizer vaccine because it's recommended by World Health Organization as well as our Advisory Committee on Communicable Diseases and the National Regulatory Authority as a safe vaccine to vaccinate children. The developed nations have already started child vaccination with Pfizer vaccine. In our country also, single dose of Pfizer vaccine to vaccinate children between 18 and 19 years of age.
Meanwhile, Professor Pujitha Wickramasinghe made remarks over the reopening of schools in the country during a media briefing held today.
As we know, corona is caused by a virus infection, and as a result of that, now it has gone into pandemic state. However, we have been somewhat fortunate enough to control this illness through our good health habits as well as vaccination program. And we are now nearing about 70% of vaccination, which would be a good target for us to control this infection in the country. As we all know, if a population coverage of the vaccination is more than, or the immunity is more than 70%, usually the pandemic status will come down into a controllable, manageable status of the infection. However, we should also remember that this pandemic has caused us a lot of harm through the children being secluded to the houses for more than 1.5 years. They have lost a lot of their youth, their childhood through this pandemic. And as a result of that, they have lost their social contacts, they have lost their education, as well as the opportunities to explore their abilities. Now the time has come for us to open schools, and I think the parents as well as the teachers have a great responsibility, but it does not stop there. All the other members in the society also have an equal responsibility in order to keep these schools open and running and provide the children their childhood as well as other benefits. So what I request from the parents is that whenever the recommendations come, please don't be afraid to send your children to school as well as to vaccinate them. So once they have been given the recommended vaccines, which were recommended by the Ministry of Health, they would be protected and their complications of getting the illness is less. And when the children come to schools, the teachers also have to bear in mind, now they are coming with a new mindset, because these children had been spending more than 1.5 years at home. They have been cut out from their normal society, and they have been exposed to a lot of family stresses like probably poor income state, loss of food even could be a state. So these children have a lot of mental stresses. So we have to bear in mind that they are under stress and they will not express themselves, and they are not the normal child you saw them 1.5 years ago. So having those in mind, we have to approach these children, and we have to bear in mind that our prime target is not immediately only to cover the syllabuses, but also to regain their confidence, make them incorporate into the society and correct their mental state. So these are some of the important things. Then on top of that, the general public also has a greater responsibility to make sure that the open schools were managed to keep functioning on a daily basis. How is that? Everybody who is eligible to get a vaccine should get the complete 2 doses of the vaccination. If you feel that you are having the illness, always try to refrain yourself from the others. So like those simple measures would help not only you, but the society and especially the children at large, because we know under 12 years, definitely there is no recommended vaccination at the moment. So that means close to about 4 million children could be at risk of getting this illness if we do not comply to this health regulation.
Well, that's a wrap of tonight's Primetime News Bulletin here at Rupavahini ChannelEye. And until we meet again next time, do take care, stay safe and good night.
Good night.